Hi, everyone. Just wanted to jump in real quick before we get started and say a quick thank you to all my patrons on Patreon. Thank you for supporting this class, and I look forward to creating new videos and new content with your support. So thank you very much. Your name should be appearing in this general area right now. Thanks. Okay, so starting where we left off last time, which naturally I remember to be, I don't know. Did we finish all this?
Thought we did, honestly.
Okay, so let's go to the next exercise. So we're in 6 now. We're doing 6. Okay. And obviously I didn't do my homework. So, so we'll just see how this goes. Maybe we'll get some good fun cases where I can't read it, and that would be awesome. Because just like, you know, when I twist the students' arms into reading, even though they don't know how to read it, we'll get to do that kind of fun thing. Yeah, we'll just see how it goes. Okay. Aurelio, do you want to take number 1?
Sure. Number 1, Lycopolitan. Oops, hang on. I still have the little sticky here on the screen about the recording. Now it's gone. Anakpe etseje nime. So Anakpe, it is I, etseje, who speaks, nim, with. Now the only question is with whom? Nime and Lycopolitan. Is that with you?
Yeah. It's such an easy rule of thumb to be like, I don't know which form of the preposition that is, so it must be you, feminine singular.
That's what I used right now, yes.
Yeah, it's
Nothing
a
else
good
fits.
strategy. It's got to be. And it's also the same in Saitic. I think this is one of the, this is a na type pre-pronominal form. Nema is, I mean. So it's, let me just see if I actually remember these. Does anyone else want to tell me? Nai, nok. Nai, nok.
Now, what is it for female you?
Nah.
Nah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So naf, nas.
Naf, nas.
Nan. Is it, ayo, is it Näten or Noten? Noten, okay, Noten.
I think it's both.
Ah,
okay. Because my hand just made it like this, I'm going to assume that Saitic is this and Bohairic is this.
Do any of the Coptic dialects distinguish gender in the second person plural?
Don't think they do, right?
No.
Because the older language doesn't either.
Yeah, Late Egyptian doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't. Right, okay.
Yeah, and then Middle Egyptian still doesn't. They probably would have been distinguished with vowels sometime early on. But we can guess that this form was originally something like keen, and then it was probably like,
Shin or something.
Masculine, keen, feminine, keeny, or whatever. Some expert on Semitic is going to come in and say like, well, in these Semitic languages, it's like this or whatever. But it's keen something. And then what happens is this becomes chen, becomes palatalized. So something like, what would that be? I'm trying to think like phonetically, probably become something like question mark vowel, and then just T, and then this generic epsilon vowel. So yeah, so something happened there. And the reason we know that is because in the second person singular, we probably have ka and ki, which is supported by comparisons to other languages. And then that's why we get, ka and ta or glottal stop or whatever, second T in older stages of Egyptian, because this he sound produces like a palatal K sound. So that's all of that. And we'll definitely talk about that again if it went too fast. I probably should have left it on the screen a little longer. It's just my habit to erase things immediately. That's not right, is it? Now? No, that feels right. But I also kind of want to write this.
No, yeah, that's.
Okay. So yeah, that's a lot of good stuff. This whole K to second T to T transformation is really useful for seeing what happened to things like this and this. Of course, now we have all of the possibilities in Coptic showing what happened. But it also illustrates, it's like a singular example of this much broader phenomenon, which is the gradual fronting of consonants throughout the history of Egyptian. So for whatever reason, Egyptian consonantal sounds are kind of constantly like rolling over the top of the palate. They're moving forward in the mouth until you get all the way to like the second person feminine, where it gets debuccalized and becomes like a glottal stop. So they're kind of like, they're on this treadmill. So I'm going to draw my little standard human mouth diagram. Here's a little tongue for you. Wow, that's not what I meant. Okay.
You should study on much more drawing hieroglyphs. You are drawing.
I think this is quite nice. I don't know why I'm being judged here for that. Let's make it. I'm going to make it abstract-er. So here's, let's give this like a little pointy pharaoh chin. Okay. So there's lips and teeth, and then a tongue, and then lips and teeth, and the palate, right? So K is basically here, and then like a kya sound, or palatalized sound. I'm gonna write the proper letter for this. It's C, which is kind of annoying because it's just the letter C. And then T is somewhere up here, and then like th is here, and then va, and then pa. Wait, but those don't actually get involved in this process. Okay, so basically Egyptian consonants are constantly doing this sort of thing. And in the case of the second person feminine, it probably started off as something like ki in the spoken language in like the Old Kingdom or before, and it goes all the way around like this. So it hits here, it hits here, and then it eventually becomes a glottal stop. So it's probably one of the best illustrations of that forward moving treadmill of consonant sounds, but there are many, many other examples that we'll see. We saw one earlier actually when we were looking at the word whoosh, because earlier on, this is, let's see if I can actually remember the glyph spelling. And then I think it has this one. That's a bad drawing. Oh no.
Not so bad, actually. So good. As a hieratic.
So good? Thank you.
Yeah, as a hieratic.
Thank you, Mustafa. Let's put the little dots for the bird. I think this is how it's written, or maybe vaguely like this, but different. But it's, uha. So you can see that this velar fricative turning into a palatal fricative is also along this treadmill of things moving forward in the mouth all the time. So there's quite a few examples of that. So it's a good general principle to know about. What else? Oh, that also applies here. So seja obviously comes from this word. Sejed. And wait, that's not a good example. Sorry. Maybe it is. So it's believed that the Proto-Afroasiatic equivalent to this sound. Why not writing? Why you don't do it? Is the like the cough sound. So you actually do have an example here of like a palatalized D sound, which I think the IPA symbol for is like a weird looking J thing. Is that right? The IPA symbol for the
If it's
voiced palatal.
if it's the voice counterpart of the C, then it's a J without a dot and then a bar halfway down.
Okay, that's it. Yeah. So it's that in older Egyptian, but it originally came from this. So you still have that same sort of forward movement of things also. So yeah, that's a good principle to know about. We'll see it all the time. I'll try to point out other examples. Okay, any questions about number one? In that case, Rasmus, do you want to do number two?
Sure. So that reads Ankorem Resh, and it would mean I am a gentle person, where the Ank would be the sort of preclitic form of the first person pronoun, and the U would be the indefinite article, and the Remresh is glossed as a gentle person.
You gloss it as a gentle person?
It says so in the vocabulary just below the exercise.
I would say wise for this.
Okay.
I'm going to guess that this is one of my feedbacks that got ignored in the drafting process, because Rembrash is really it's from. Actually, do you want to try to guess what this comes from?
I'm drawing a blank here. Perhaps Aurelia knows.
Yeah, I mean, now that you said wise, I'm thinking that the sh could be an older ch, which would mean rech, like to know.
Yeah.
One of the first gardener words, basically. The scribe knows another counsel or something. Very first lesson.
Oh yeah, I've forgotten about that. It's been so long since I've looked at that. Yeah, I think it's this. Remresh. Remresh.
Wow. Does that survive anywhere else in Coptic?
I know of cases in Demotic where I've seen it.
Huh.
I think it's in Okshoshonki, actually. I don't remember for sure where I've seen it, but I've definitely seen that phrase in Demotic where it is, Demotic makes it more obvious what the word is, because it retains like some of the classifiers and etymological spellings. I'm pretty sure that's wise man. Maybe it's kind of like drifted in meaning to be a gentle person. Gentle person. I also don't know what Alan means by that. Does he mean like genteel, or does he mean like someone who like is not like Lenny with the rabbits? Like he doesn't crush small animals when he handles them. I don't know what he means by gentle in this case. So yeah, it's a good question to ask him. Actually, I might ask him that.
Doesn't your version of the book have that gloss?
Yes. Yeah, it does. I didn't do my homework, so sorry. But yeah, like I should have known that, but I didn't because I was irresponsible.
So I'm looking at Journey as we speak. Rash only in Remrash, mild, gentle person. Remedrech, a scholar, literally man who knows.
Yeah.
That's just another voice here chiming in.
Let's go with it. Like I'm very inclined to argue with Alan just because he so thoroughly enjoys that being argued with. But Cherney is unfortunately not with us anymore, and I'm very disinclined to argue with Cherney about anything ever because he was like a super genius. Somebody asked me once who they said like, who's your favorite Egyptologist? And this was like a normal Egyptologist who like studies normal things and isn't like an antisocial weirdo like me. And I said Yaroslav Cherney, and her immediate reaction was, "You would say Cherney." I was like, "Oh, thanks a lot. I'm glad." I didn't know I was going to be judged, but I enjoy the way I'm being judged for this. Yeah, best Egyptologist ever, Sherry. Anyway, okay, so we have more than one possibility for that. I think Alan is deferring to Cherney on that too, and I would guess that Cherney had good reasons for writing that. So that book was compiled from slips that he kept in his office. So after he died, his students put his slips together to turn them into a book. So no one was able to ask him what he meant by that.
Maybe one last note on number 2. Now that we talk about a possible semantic shift there from knowing to gentle, whatever that means. English nice originally is nescius, unknowing, not knowing. That's more like kind of a little bit innocent, and that has a major semantic shift. So what I'm trying to say is both could be true.
Yeah. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I guess it makes sense, like unknowing as a sense of in a sense of innocent, and then like there's a popular notion that children are nicer than adults, which doesn't reflect my reality at all. Is the cat scratching something? What's she doing? Penchurch, what are you doing? Why like this? Okay, sorry everyone. Just making sure she wasn't like scratching the furniture. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, anything else on number 2 before we go to number 3? Mustafa, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, actually, Peframpe, Timotheos, his name is Timotheus.
Yeah, his name is Tim. I mean, what?
I don't know.
What else could we say about this? His name is Tim. Tim is his name. Literally, so for these sentences, it's like it is his name, namely Tim. So yeah, there's the whole thing about subject and predicate, where it's like what is the known information and what is the unknown information. But this, so with the nominal sentences, it's kind of ambiguous and like they're not super careful about it in Coptic, just like we aren't super careful about it in English. So I could say like, Tim is his name, or his name is Tim, and those don't really have a difference in terms of theme and rime. Because everybody knows he has a name. That's known information no matter what. Okay, I don't think I can say any more about this. I feel like I've squeezed all the juice out of that little lemon. So number 4 is Aurelia.
U Schlafpe in Urome in Judai. A disgrace. An Urome for okay, so it's a disgrace for a Jewish person. Again, kind of can't really think of much more to say there.
Nope. Yeah, I think we're good. I don't know what else I can say about that. Okay, Rasmus, number 5.
Sure. So it's if yod de neu eyeninpe, which then would be something like but his father is a Greek.
Yeah, close.
I'm a bit unsure about this. So Pefjord would be his father. That's pretty straightforward. And is the Greek particle the.
Yep.
And then U is the indefinite article, and nin is Greek, and pe is the copula. But I'm a bit unsure about the first ne.
Anybody want to guess?
Which you mean there?
No, this.
Like a belonging to say belonging to a certain class or something?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
Oh, I just see that actually Alan does have a gloss for ne being was.
Yeah,
yeah, that's the, what do we call it? An imperfect, or what
yeah,
label do
that
we
is
slap on that?
that is the imperfect converter. That's something that Leighton totally incorrectly calls the preterite converter. So for some reason, Leighton randomly decided to swap the words imperfect and preterite in his grammar. I don't think anyone can explain why, not even him. There is like a sort of attempt at an explanation in his Coptic in 20 lessons, and it's like overtly self-contradictory. It's like, since it behaves this way, we'll call it the imperfect, or we'll call it the preterite, because imperfect means this. And like the definition he gives for the word imperfect is exactly how he described it behaving the sentence before or something. It's really bizarre. Like, since it's like this, we'll call it something different. It just makes no sense. But so you might know it as the preterite converter, and I wouldn't take points off on an exam if you called it that, because a very knowledgeable and well-regarded coptologist, for whatever reason, decided to call it that totally randomly. But we're not going to call it that, because it's just, it makes no sense.
So the converter can go with pay. That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, ne can go with just about anything. So I would say that if you see a random ne floating around in the wild, probably just knocks everything into the past a little bit. Another thing that it almost always does, I think I can pretty safely say always, although, you know, with languages, you don't really want to say always, but ne always makes whatever is being said contextualizing information, not primary information. So his father was a Greek, or his father was Greek. Wait, yeah, this actually isn't the indefinite article. Sorry, I think
No, it's part of the word for Greek then. I just realized as well.
Yeah, what's the word for Greek?
So it's weighing in.
Yeah.
Ionians, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Try to guess the etymology of this. So weyanin. So if I put it like phonetically, it's we. Yeah, I don't know why I'm using e, but whatever. Weyanin, and this comes somehow from.
It's from Ionic, right? Yeah.
Ionian.
Does Ionic have a digamma in like really old times?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but
I think what's
where does the
happening is
word come from?
in Hebrew, I think it's Yanin or something like that, isn't it Greek? So
why does it start with a, sorry.
I think also in Indian languages, the word for Greek is something starting with a yan or yon.
So I'm going to guess that it's something like this. I'm trying to like, wait, that's not Eonian. That's pretty much a phonetic spelling actually, so that works. Eonian, and then, you know, hypothetically reconstructed form.
Okay.
Union in Egyptian.
Actually, there is a listed etymology on Wiktionary of all places, saying that the ancient Greek for Ionian was originally Yawon, and then in Aramaic that becomes Yaunayin in the plural, and then that's borrowed into Demotic as Wayan.
Yeah.
With a metathesis.
That's good. I didn't actually know about that Aramaic like detour in the process. But yeah, what's happening is metathesis, because both of these initial vowel sounds are being treated like consonants. So if they're treated like consonants, you have a possible metathesis here in Egyptian, which is quite common. So it's actually not that weird. It just at first glance, it seems really weird because it's like, yeah, Wayanin, Ionian, it just feels like they shouldn't be the same word. But you really have to have this intermediate step of like both of these semi-vowels being treated as root consonants, and then you can get them flipped, which is very common in Egyptian. Egyptian loves to flip root consonants around. Even in words that are still like overtly related to one another, you'll have metathesis of root consonants. So yeah.
And then just to continue the erudition, digging deeper on Wiktionary, it says from earlier Iawon with a D gamma, so it has one, just not where I thought it has one. Compare Mycenaean Greek Iawone, Ionians.
Yeah, and that's so there we have
Kinda
a
cool,
question about it. Is that digamma, was that part of the Yao? What did you say, Rasmus? Yao 9?
I think it says that originally the word for Ionian in ancient Greek was Yawon, and then that
Yawon.
gets borrowed into Aramaic as Yaunayin in the plural.
Also, as I remember, in Persian, something like Yauna.
Yauna.
Okay.
I just
I
see
don't
it
know
here.
For the
All Persian.
Ionian region. Probably from inscription of Xerxes or Darius. I don't remember which one is.
So yeah, there you go. Those Ionians are they're just everywhere. They were the German tourists of the ancient world, actually. It's like
Actually,
I've been to
something
such
like
weird places, and I always
Japanese
meet like a new
tourists.
German friend. I would say, like, I've met quite a few Japanese tourists in my time, but like I had like brief temporary friendships with German tourists in like at Siwa Oasis in Cusco, Peru. It's like, or in like even little towns in Peru that like have one ancient site in them. I would like run into like a single backpacking German man in his 20s. Like literally every single place in the world I go, I always like have a brief friendship with this one random dude who's there too, and he's always a young German guy. I don't know why that is. So yeah, so the Ionians apparently were just like, they were just getting around. They were the quintessential Greeks. And I don't know why that is. Does anyone with better historical knowledge than me know why it's Ionian? Why not Hellenes or Athenian or Spartan or any other number of things?
Probably, as I remember, something like first colonization movements from Greek history starts in the in region of Ionia, and probably something like, and much more. Ionians are more trader than the others, as I know. Maybe it is the reason. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say that almost certainly is the reason. Okay. My cat wants dinner, that's for sure. Okay. Number 6 is, I don't know whose turn it is. Who just read number 5? Was that Rasmus?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Mustafa, do you want to do number 6?
Tepüle, Etnesos, Enteperpe. The gate which actually Etnesos.
Nessos.
Is it? It's a name or something. So.
No. It is a na type adjective verb. So the na type adjective verbs are normally of the form n plus, lexeme, whatever that looks like, and then suffix pronoun. Ugh, I'm working so hard on making nicer Fs, and they always come out terrible. It's like this is the pattern. So it always begins with n, and then it has like the adjective verb in here. That's not how you spell adjective. Adjective verb, and then suffix pronoun. So I don't actually know the etymology of nessos. I'm gonna try to find Cherney.
Is there any possibility come from something like Nesut, Nisu, or something?
No, definitely not. The descendants of that word are there's a word shents that means fine linen, and it comes from Sesher Insu, like royal linen, and that actually survives. It was borrowed into Hebrew as shesh, so it's the
just try
garment.
my chance.
No, yeah, it's worth a try. The other case I know of is in the epithet of Amun. So Amun Re Sonter is from Amun Re Nesu Necheru, like Amun Re, king of gods. And that Nesu Necheru becomes Sonter in later surviving form. Why can I not find NS? I know that it exists. Mesa, not. Newt. Newte. Kind of interesting. Oh, it shows it here. Yes, I love this. I know it's like off topic, but newt, noit. So newt is like to grind, and then noit is flour, and that's like a common derivation or like a nominal form from a verb. So a lot of other words that you have in Coptic with the same vowel paradigm, you can actually relate them to a verb in some way. So night is like flour, but it's or meal is the word I want. So it's related to the word mill. And like wine, light is related to the word won, to open. So it's like opening. Yeah. Is that a, here's a na type adjective verb, nesbo. So nesbof would mean he is wise. What is nessos? Where does that come from? Does anyone happen to know? I don't mean to like take all our time looking at this. So if you know, just tell me.
I thought it was just Nesse with 2 epsilons, but perhaps it isn't. It should have been where you're just looking. So I guess it isn't anyway.
Wait, was I looking in the wrong place? It should be. Nessa would be the pre-nominal form, and Nesso is the pre-pronominal form. And that's just like shift and stress. So yeah, I should probably look it up by Nessa, but they'll actually be in the same place because all of these dictionaries, except for Allen's, are annoyingly sorted by consonants.
I think Nesse at the back in the index, Christian, it says Nesse Gram 228b in the list of Coptic words in Gram with no etymologies given. So he's acknowledging it.
Okay, well that's good. Yeah, so we don't know. I feel like we should though. It's not.
Yeah, it's tempting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just not weird looking. There's just nothing weird about it. So it seems like it should be pretty easy to figure out what it's from. I'm gonna check bicycle since we're already doing this.
Bicycle? Oh, got it.
Yeah, I don't know how to say this word.
Bicycle.
No one in the United States knows how to pronounce this word, so we call it bicycle.
Got it. Vichichel, I always thought, but I've not heard it spoken in the wild. Being self-taught.
Vichel. I mean, how can you have CHL? Chul?
Chul.
Chill. Okay.
Just chill.
Chi. Something like as a is something like chi. TNS. Something like I don't know.
I'm looking him up now. Werner. Okay, how do you say his name? First name is Werner. That's easy.
Yeah.
Born in Prague, Bohemian.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a Czech name for sure.
So does he have anything? Ah, there we go. Nesse, Etrebo. Compare sa beauté.
Sayo. I feel like I know. Sayo. So yeah, there's definitely a word that it comes from, but it's just must not be very common. Weird. Oh, this is interesting. Not AC has the na at the beginning. For place.
Fix local. No.
Huh. I don't think anyone knows where that na comes from. So it's something I've wondered about for a really long time. That's another case where like in late Egyptian, all the adjective verbs that are still in use suddenly get na stuck on the front of them and nobody knows where that comes from. And it just seems like it should be so easy to figure it out. But yeah, we don't know. Okay, so what does this mean, Mustafa?
I couldn't catch it. No.
So nese means like to be beautiful. So tipile et nesos.
The gate which that the gate that is beautiful.
Yep.
Enteperpe belong to the temple or
Yes.
yeah, okay.
The beautiful gate of the temple. And I'm gonna have to leave it there because I have to start the next class. So I'm gonna put a start here. April 17. Okay. So I'm gonna go, but I will see y'all either in class immediately after this or next week.
Sure. Thanks.
Okay.
See you
Bye,
then.
everyone.
Have a good
See you
one.
a couple of minutes.
Bye.